Men need to be able to look in the mirror, and women need to be able to look in the mirror, right? I think that society has done a terrible job at helping women curate and become more self-aware in a lot of perspectives. I think that society is doing a better job at helping women be self-aware when it comes to right sexual liberation and careers and ambitions, right, in certain positions in society. But I think from a mental health range and a becoming more of a comprehensively or spiritual and feminine woman, I don't think society does any curation of that whatsoever, almost, besides those who are of that spiritual community. You understand me? And those who do have sister circles that allow you all to have those conversations. But it's like with every community that forms and starts to form and gain power, most of the things happen internal, right? And so it's like the LGBT community don't all agree with each other, but their disagreements are internal. So they don't let the rest of the world see them break ranks on what's toxic inside of their internal conflicts. On the outside, there's a brand of it, oh, pride and happiness and freedom and love, and everybody's love is love. But on internal, they conflicts, they don't agree with each other on a lot of different things. It's the same thing with the Asian community, the Jewish community. You understand me? The white community now be showing conflict, of course. They go to civil war with each other these days. But they also can agree on things, you understand me, about white power and race and having power, things of that nature. And then you got the women community who have now formed based on the basis of their gender, right? And so a lot of the internal things are not being had. And I think it can become destructive in some capacities rather than constructive. You understand me? When we don't deal with the things as we making change. So we got to deal with our own shit as we shovel somebody else's in their face. Because at the end of the day, the basis, if it's not around black family, I don't care about the individual progress. I don't care about the individual moves. Because then we just training ourselves to be like white men in society. Well, I get successful, I get my career, I get my money, I have my ambitions, then I'm good. And it starts to become like, it's not that you're trying to get rid of the structures of capitalism or patriarchal society, it's that you want a higher position in it, right? And then that destroys the functionality, right, of us being attracted to ourselves, meaning that men and women being, and black men and women being attracted to each other. So what makes a black woman go seek outside her race to go find somebody else is that she lost the look for qualities, right? And because of the trauma in between that she's had with the relationships in between, the propaganda and all those things, she no longer believes those qualities exist inside her race. She can no longer see it. Same thing what a black man does. He starts to seek qualities. He say, well, a white woman is more submissive, right? Less questioning to him and things of that nature. And he stops associating those qualities with his woman. And then he becomes weakened because he doesn't want to go through the process of disciplining, strengthening himself, right? That allows him to grow into becoming a greater and better man, which is what a black woman does. A black woman goes sharpen you. She gonna make sure you are who you say you are. And she not gonna allow you to come in with the bullshit. And other races of women might not be able to challenge you in that same capacity because they don't share the same perspective, right, of growing up in reality, and they don't share the same perspective of your own potential. They don't have it in their DNA to understand that. So it's an interesting conversation because if we challenge men to grow back into their masculinity, we have to challenge women to grow back into their feminine nature, right? One without the other is lopsided. But today's society is challenging women to become more masculine, right? And challenging men to be more feminine. You understand me? And it destroys the attraction to each other. You understand me? And then we replace the concepts of family with career. And so when we look at the fact that our population size decreases in America every year, why is it that? We had high fecundity. You understand? Our sperms are working, but we have a high amount of contraceptive and birth control and abortion and a multitude of other different things that we do in our culture to kill life because we're not really trying to reproduce ourselves. And you have to think about where that mentality comes from. When a culture no longer wants to reproduce itself, it's literally saying that that culture doesn't have love for itself. Because when you love yourself, you want to reproduce it. When you love something so much, you need to have more of it, abundance. You appreciate. And that appreciation is the growth in value. But we stop loving ourselves, so nah, you don't want to have a baby. Nah, you don't want to have a family. Nah, you don't want to produce more men or more women like you, or more black men, or don't want to produce more black women. You understand me? Somebody said, name one thing that has made black men feminine. They say skinny jeans. No, it's not just about that. It's the characteristics that have been lost within the black man. It's the traits that have been lost, his willfulness, his ambition, his willingness to be a protector and a provider and a producer, right? And to be productive and to be a leader. Those are the qualities. You're talking about aesthetics and really aesthetics and fashion. Those things flip-flop as far as what's acceptable and what's masculine and what's not. Because in Africa, yes, you can wear a long garb, and it doesn't have any pants like in European, and that's considered to be masculine over there, but feminine over here. So context matters. So each generation gets the context, what is masculine and what is feminine based on what's associated with the characteristics, right, and of the style that's being presented, right? So that's different. If we grew up and only the gangsters was wearing skinny jeans, we would associate that with being masculine, right? But I mean, you know, they did bell bottoms and all kind of stuff in the 70s, and them brothers were still masculine. So it's not so much about the clothing that's being worn, but the characteristics that have been lost. And this is where people start to look at things from a shallow standpoint, right? And so I'm gonna handle this too. They said, I'm Islam. A man is not supposed to wear gold. You said I'm Islam. I don't know about that because I definitely know that the women ain't supposed to have their legs out too. But at the end of the day, I told y'all before, man. You know, peace of Prophet Muhammad. You understand me? But at the end of the day, I don't follow out of rituals in that capacity. You understand me? Gold. I drink gold. I wear gold. I'm gonna get those particles in my skin and within my body. You understand me? So, cut the BS. But anyway, we're gonna get back to it. We have to understand these things from deeper bases and deeper levels. You understand me? So women are being forced to be more masculine. Men are being forced to be more feminine. You understand me? And both of these things are associated with them fitting more into society and the narrative that goes, especially if you know this future melanin month, so we got to talk about the vision of society. If you will have a vision for society, it has to have a healthy, divine, masculine presentation of men that conduct themselves as such. You understand me? And it's the same thing with women. So it's like when I started studying this population control thing, I understood that a lot of things that's implemented in our society are social programmings. Listen, man, if you gonna be hypocritical and point something out, I'm gonna point it back at you. I choose violence, so don't play with me. You understand me? Point out your own insecurities and issues and problems that consist within your day and your life. Do not try to learn something and point it out to somebody else to have them see themselves if you never stop to see yourself. So you can't be doing something hypocritical in your own profile picture and then try to ask me about wearing gold. And being a Muslim means one who submits his or her will to do the will of God, being good, following that golden rule, being righteous, treating your brother and sister how you want to be treated. You understand me? So if you don't want me to check you, then don't try to come check me. So at the end of the day, that's checkmate. So we get to that point where it's like, you know, yeah, Kissinger had a report in 1974 talking about that he was going to use homosexuality as a method for sterilization. That's this is a fact. I didn't create it. He created that. So you're talking about higher ups in the government having these positions. You're talking about the fact that by 2025 there will be more deaths than births in the white community. But what about ours? Why do we choose to follow death?